The sun above the alien city was large and red. The air was dry and filled with yellow dust. The market was busy. Traders shouted, robots rolled by, and many species walked between the shops. It was noisy. But then, one sound rose above all others. A child's scream. "My mother won't wake up!" People turned for a moment but then looked away. No one wanted to get involved. Some aliens muttered under their breath. Others walked around the boy like he was just trash in the road. The boy had purple skin. His big eyes were wet with tears. His small hands were shaking as he tried to pull his mother's arm. "Please, wake up," he cried again. She was lying on the ground, not moving. Her breathing was slow. Her face looked pale, even for her alien race. A fruit basket lay spilled next to her. In the crowd, a tall human man stopped. His name was Jack Carter, a traveler from Earth. He was wearing a long brown coat and carried a small backpack. Jack had seen many things on different planets, but something about the boy's voice stopped him. Jack pushed through the crowd. "Make way," he said firmly. An old alien hissed. "It's not your business, human." But Jack didn't care. He knelt beside the woman and placed 2 fingers on her neck. Her pulse was weak, her skin was cold. "Sir, please help her," the boy whispered. She just fell down." Jack looked around. "Someone call a medic." No one answered. No one moved. "Cowards," Jack muttered under his breath. He opened his backpack and pulled out a small scanner. It was old, but still worked. He moved it over the woman's body. Her name appeared on the screen. Lifa Zin. Basic scan showed no broken bones, no injuries. But then, a red alert flashed. "Toxin detected, unknown compound." Jack frowned. This wasn't a simple collapse. "She's been poisoned." The boy's eyes grew wide. "Poisoned?" Jack nodded. "What's your name?" "Zoru," the boy said softly. "Okay, Zoru. Stay close." Jack lifted Liva in his arms. She was light, too light. She hadn't eaten properly in days, he guessed. Her breathing was shallow. Time was short. As he started walking, a group of alien guards appeared at the corner of the market. One of them pointed. "There! The human is touching her!" Jack moved fast. He ducked into a side alley. Zoru ran behind him. The guards shouted, but didn't follow right away. They didn't want to touch a poisoned body. Jack's room wasn't far. He rented it above a repair shop run by an old machine. He kicked the door open and gently placed Liva on his bed. Zoru climbed up and held her hand. "She's going to be okay, right?" he asked. Jack didn't answer yet. He scanned her again. The toxin was spreading. It was not natural. It looked engineered. Someone had done this on purpose. Jack looked at Zoru. "Was anyone angry with your mom? Did she talk about someone chasing her?" Zoru sniffed. "She said she saw something bad. She told me to run if anything happened." Jack stood up. She knew something dangerous, and now someone tried to silence her. The boy's face turned pale. "Will they come after me too?" Jack walked over and put a hand on his shoulder. "Not while I'm here." Outside, the wind howled and dust blew through the broken window. But inside, for now, the child was safe, and the human had made a choice. Jack sat beside the unconscious alien woman, Liva, as Zoru held her hand tightly. The room was dim, lit only by a flickering power lamp. Outside, footsteps could be heard on the metal walkways. Someone was searching nearby. Jack's old scanner blinked with a low battery warning. He tapped it, and the screen showed the poison. Again, unknown compound, but the scanner found something new now. A glowing mark under her skin near the back of her neck. "What's that?" Jack muttered. He moved closer and gently brushed her hair aside. There it was, a tiny silver symbol glowing faintly, like a tattoo, but not written in any common language. Zoru leaned in. That was not always there. Jack scanned the mark. The scanner beeped softly. Warning. Classified access tag detected. Royal encryption. Jack's eyes narrowed. She's not just a normal alien. She was part of something big. Zoru looked confused. She works in the market. Sells fruits. Jack shook his head. She used to be something else. This mark, only high-level people in the Royal Data Council have it. Suddenly there was a knock at the door. Bang, 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 open planetary patrol. Jack's heart raced. He pulled Zoru behind the bed and whispered, "Stay quiet, don't move." He looked around for a weapon but had nothing but a wrench. Another loud bang. The door shook. Then silence. Then footsteps walking away. Jack waited a full minute before moving. He peeked out the window. A patrol drone floated down the alley. He whispered, "They know I have her." Zoru's voice trembled. "They want to take my mother away." Jack grabbed his bag and stuffed the scanner inside. "We can't stay here. They'll come back with more. We need answers, and we need to keep moving." He lifted HFY once, more and motioned for Zoru to follow. They went down the back stairs into the night. They moved through the maze-like streets of the lower sector. Jack had one place in mind, Doc Varnak, an old alien medic who helped outcasts. If anyone could read that symbol or slow the poison, it was him. They reached a dark building built into the wall of a canyon. A flickering sign read, "Varnak Diagnostics." Jack knocked 3 times. Then again. The door creaked open, and a large, lizard-like alien looked out. His eyes were sharp and his voice raspy. "Human. I don't help your kind unless—" Jack cut him off. "She's dying. She has a royal encryption mark. I need help. Now." Varnak's eyes widened. He opened the door quickly. "Bring her in, hurry." Inside, the room smelled of chemicals and smoke. Machines hummed softly. Varnak pointed to a metal bed. As Jack laid Leva down, Varnak examined the glowing mark. "I haven't seen one of these in years," he said. "You know what it means?" Jack asked. Varnak nodded. "This is a memory lock seal. It protects secret data hidden inside the brain. Only high-ranking council agents are given these, and only enemies of the Empire try to remove them." Zoru gasped. "My mother has secrets?" Varnak started running a special scan. Someone poisoned her to block her brain functions, but not to kill. At least not right away. They wanted to erase something. Jack leaned in. "Can you stop the poison?" Varnak shook his head. "Not with what I have here. You'll need someone from the old war zones. They still carry anti-data poisons there." "Then we'll go there," Jack said. Varnak gave a cold laugh. "You're mad. That place is ruled by criminals and old machines. Even I wouldn't go." Jack looked down at Zoru, who was watching his mother with tears in his eyes. Then Jack turned back to Varnak. "We're going. Just tell me how to keep her alive long enough." Varnak sighed, then handed him a small injector. "This will slow the poison, maybe for 3 days. After that, she's gone." Jack took it and injected it gently into HFY's arm. Her breathing eased slightly. Varnak stepped closer. "You should know. If the Empire finds you with her, you'll be hunted." "I already am," Jack said quietly. He picked up HFY again, nodded to Varnak, and walked out into the shadows of the lower city, toward a place filled with danger, mystery, and maybe the key to saving her life. Jack walked through the dark gates of the war zone, a part of the city that no one entered without a weapon, or a death wish. Smoke rose from broken towers. Old machines sparked from walls. The ground was filled with trash, and strange glowing eyes peeked from the shadows. Zoru held his mother's hand tightly as Jack carried her on his back. Her breathing was weak. The poison was still spreading, and the injector Varnak gave him was only slowing it down. "Where are we?" Zoru whispered. Jack looked around. This used to be a battlefield. Now it's ruled by gangs and broken warbots. Zoru shivered. "It's scary." Jack nodded. "That's why no one will follow us here. But we're not safe yet." He headed toward an old building half buried under rubble. A faded sign above the entrance read, "Clinic 17 closed by Imperial order." Jack kicked the door. It opened slowly, making a loud metal creak. Inside, the air was cold. Broken lights blinked. But someone had been there recently. There, were footprints on the dusty floor. "Stay close," Jack said. They walked through the halls until a deep robotic voice echoed from behind. "State your purpose, intruder." Jack turned fast. A large machine stepped out of the shadows. It had a humanoid shape, but one of its arms was a surgical blade. The other held a long scanner. Its eyes glowed red. "I need help," Jack said. "She's dying from data poison." The robot scanned Leva. It paused. Then its red eyes flickered blue for a moment. Memory encryption code detected. Origin, Royal Data Council. Risk level, extreme. Jack stood firm. "Can you remove the poison?" The robot tilted its head. "Negative. I can only delay it. Further, you must reach a place called Vault 9, deep under this sector. That is where the original anticode still exists." "Then lead us there," Jack said. The robot didn't move. "You must offer something in return." Jack was confused. "I have no money." "Not money," the robot replied. "A promise. When she wakes, she must deliver a name stored in her mind. A name that once betrayed my kind." Zoru looked up. "You want my mom to remember something?" The robot nodded. "Her memory may contain the identity of the man who shut down all medic bots after the war. Thousands of my kind were lost." Jack hesitated. "She might not remember." The robot turned. "Then you will not leave Vault 9 alive." Jack took a deep breath. "Fine. We'll find the name." The robot stepped aside and opened a hidden door behind the wall. A long staircase led into darkness. They walked down for what felt like hours. The air grew colder. Pipes leaked steam. Zoru held onto Jack's arm as strange sounds echoed below, metal creaking, old machines humming. Finally, they reached a large door. It opened with a hiss. Inside was Vault 9. The room was filled with glowing tanks and forgotten tech. A single pod stood in the center, covered in glass. It looked like a sleeping chamber. The robot walked over and tapped a panel. "Place her inside. The system will attempt memory unlock and toxin removal." Jack gently placed Leva in the pod. The glass closed over her. Lights flickered as the pod hummed to life. "She'll be in stasis," the robot said. "Safe for now." Suddenly, an alarm beeped. Jack turned to the screen. A signal was coming through. Someone had tracked them. Zoru gasped. "Are they coming?" The robot spoke coldly. "Yes." A bounty signal was triggered the moment her memory encryption activated. "You have 10 minutes. Jack pulled out a small pistol from his bag. "Then we hold them off." The robot handed him a shock grenade. "I will help." Outside the vault door, footsteps approached, heavy ones. Zoru hid behind a pillar, hugging his knees. Jack stood in front of the pod, heart pounding. "She better wake up," he whispered, "because I don't think we'll get another chance." The metal walls of Vault 9 shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Outside the thick door, someone, or something, was trying to break in. Zoru's small hands gripped the edge of the pod where his mother, Leva, lay sleeping. Inside, glowing wires were slowly removing the poison from her body. The lights on the pod blinked softly, like a heartbeat. Jack stood in front of the vault door with his weapon ready. His eyes didn't blink. He knew this moment would come. The robot medic beside him, its surgical arm now folded back, turned toward Jack. "They have plasma tools," it said. "They will cut through in 3 minutes." "How many are there?" Jack asked. 4 life forms. 1 drone. All armed," Zoru whispered. "We can't fight all of them." Jack smiled slightly. "That's why we won't fight fair." He took out the shock grenade the robot gave him and handed it to Zoru. "When I say now, you throw this into the hallway. Just like a ball, okay?" Zoru nodded, shaking but brave. The robot moved to a control panel. "I will reroute power to the upper vents. When the door opens, smoke will fill the chamber. It may confuse them." Jack nodded. "Good. I just need a few seconds." Suddenly a loud crack split the air. Boom. The outer lock exploded. Sparks flew. A long beam of red light cut through the door, a plasma saw. Jack whispered to the pod, "Leva, please wake up. We're running out of time." 2 minutes later, the vault door burst open. 4 bounty hunters in dark armor stepped inside. Their leader, a tall, insect-like alien with sharp metal legs, scanned the room. "Target identified," it hissed. "Recover the woman. Kill the rest." Jack stepped out from behind a console and fired first. His blast hit one hunter in the chest, knocking him down. But then the others spread out fast. One fired back and Jack rolled behind a metal crate. "Zoru, now!" Zoru, hiding in the shadows, threw the grenade with all his strength. It landed near the feet of the second hunter. Flash! Zap! A bright shockwave of blue light filled the room. The attackers screamed. Their suits sparked wildly. The robot lunged forward, slamming its heavy metal arm into the third bounty hunter and throwing him across the floor. But the leader was still standing. It charged toward the pod, toward Leva. Jack jumped in the way. The alien's claws slashed at him. One hit his shoulder, drawing blood. Jack groaned but didn't fall. He punched back hard, using a shock rod from his belt. They both fell to the ground, wrestling. Zoru screamed, "Jack!" The bounty leader kicked Jack back and raised a blade to strike. Suddenly, the pod hissed open. Leva's eyes opened, wide. They glowed silver. The air around her shimmered with energy. She sat up slowly. Her voice was calm, cold, powerful. "You should not have touched my son." Her hand lifted, and from her bracelet, a hidden pulse weapon activated. Boom! A wave of white light struck the bounty leader, throwing him backward into the wall. He hit hard and didn't move. Silence filled the vault. Zoru ran to his mother, crying, "You're awake. You're okay." She hugged him tightly, her body still weak, but alive. "I promised I'd come back." Jack stood holding his arm, smiling through the pain. "You really know how to make an entrance," he said. Leva looked around at the destroyed room, then at the robot. "Did I remember anything?" she asked. The robot nodded. "The data is unlocked. The name we seek is now known to you." Leva closed her eyes. "Yes," she whispered, "and the galaxy will never be the same." The vault was quiet now. Smoke floated in the air. The broken bodies of the bounty hunters lay still on the floor. Only the hum of the healing pod remained. Leva sat on the edge of the pod, holding Zoru close to her. Her skin was pale and her voice was soft, but her eyes burned with a new fire. Jack leaned against the wall, pressing a cloth to his bleeding shoulder. "You said you remembered something," he asked. "What was it?" Leva looked up slowly. "A name, a face, a betrayal." Zoru looked confused. "Who betrayed you, Mama?" She took a breath. "He was once a friend, a royal advisor named Kelv Maron. He worked with me in the council, but he sold secrets, dangerous ones. He gave the Empire the codes to destroy entire rebel cities, including the place where your father died." Jack's jaw tightened. "You mean this Maron caused the mass purges?" She nodded. "Yes, I caught him. I had proof. But before I could report him, he poisoned me. I escaped with Zoru and erased my own memory so they couldn't find the name." Jack stepped forward. "You buried the name in your mind. That's why they sent hunters after you, to erase it before you could remember." The robot medic turned toward them. "That name, Kelv Maron, still has power. He controls parts of the Empire's data network. If exposed, he could fall, and so could others. But," Leva said carefully, "if we speak his name too soon, he will strike first. He will destroy all witnesses, even Zoru." Jack clenched his fists. "Then we make a plan. We find him, and we bring his crimes into the light." Later that night, they rested in the back of Vault 9. The robot had sealed the door again, and the power was stable. Jack wrapped his wound while Zoru curled up beside his mother, finally sleeping without fear. Jack couldn't sleep. He stared at the small tablet in his hand. The robot had given it to him. Inside it was the full memory file recovered from Leva's mind. It showed images, logs and voice recordings of Kelvmarin's betrayal. It was enough to destroy him, but only if the right people saw it. Lichva stirred. "You can't send that file from here." Jack nodded. "The signal would be traced in seconds." She sat up slowly. "There's one place. An old rebel outpost on the moon Kriven 6. They have a protected relay there. I used it long ago." Jack raised an eyebrow. "That moon's in dead space. No ships go there now." "I know," Lichva said. "But it's our only chance." Suddenly, the robot interrupted. Motion detected outside the lower tunnel. Jack stood. "Again?" "No," the robot said. "Not bounty hunters. Refugees." A screen showed blurry images, dozens of aliens, sick and tired, carrying children hiding from patrol drones. Lichva walked to the screen, eyes wide. "These people, they're from the outer colonies. The Empire must be moving faster than we thought." Jack stared. "They need help, and we have no time." Lichva placed a hand on the glass. "Then we send the data, and we protect them." Jack frowned. "That's a lot to handle." She looked him in the eyes. "You were the only one who came when my son cried. Are you still that man?" Jack smiled weakly. "Yeah, I guess I am." An hour later, Vault 9 came alive with purpose. The robot opened old shelters hidden in the lower tunnels. Jack helped carry food from sealed storage, boxes. Zoru handed out water packs. Lichva helped treat the wounded with what was left of the med supplies. The refugees whispered her name. Some recognized her. One even fell to his knees, calling her the voice who vanished. News of her survival would spread quickly now. Jack watched her work and felt something strange, something human. A feeling he hadn't felt in years. The old transport ship shook as it climbed through the sky, pushing past clouds and into the stars. Its engines rattled, and warning lights blinked red, but it still flew. Inside, Jack sat near the front, holding the tablet that contained the truth, the data that could bring down Kelvmarin and expose the Empire's lies. Across from him, Lichva sat wrapped in a cloak, her hands trembling. She had given everything to protect her son and her secret. Now she had both back, but time was running out. Zoru sat between them, his small face pressed against the window. "Is that Kriven 6? He asked, pointing at the silver moon floating. Ahead, Jack nodded. "That's where we send the message." Lichva added softly, "And that's where everything will change." Kriven 6 was cold and dark. The moon had no sunlight. It floated in eternal night, covered in frozen dust and jagged rocks. The ship landed hard on a forgotten platform covered in snow. The old rebel outpost looked dead. Its doors were sealed, its towers broken. Zoru looked nervous. "Is anyone still alive down there?" Jack placed a hand on his shoulder. "If not, we'll make it work ourselves." The door creaked open as they stepped into the silence. Inside the outpost, the air was thin. Icicles hung from the ceiling. Machines stood frozen, and the power grid blinked with low energy. But deeper inside, a single light still glowed, faint, but alive. They followed, the light down a corridor into a control room. A voice echoed from the shadows. "You shouldn't be here." Jack turned fast, weapon ready. An old alien stepped out, one arm missing, the other made of scrap metal. His eyes were tired, but sharp. Lichva spoke, her voice strong. "You're Commander Ross. You used to lead the Kriven cell." The alien blinked, surprised. "Lichva Zinn? I thought you were dead." "I was almost," she said. "But now I need your help again." Ross looked at Jack, then at Zoru. "You brought a human and a child. You must be desperate." Jack stepped forward. "We have data that could shake the Empire, but we need your relay station." Ross frowned. "It still works?" "Barely. But sending something like that will alert every sensor in this sector. You'll have seconds before a fleet comes." Lichva didn't hesitate. "Then seconds are enough." Ross led them to the core chamber, deep below the outpost. There, An ancient terminal still hummed. Jack plugged in the tablet. On the screen, files opened. Maran's voice, images of war crimes, secret plans, all revealed. Zoru watched, shocked. He hurt so many people. Leva touched his hand. And now we show the galaxy who he truly is. Ross typed a few commands. The moment I hit send, we lose this place. Jack nodded. Then do it. Ross looked at Leva once more. You sure? She smiled gently. Truth is the only weapon we have left. Ross pressed the button. Send confirmed. Alarms blared, lights flashed red. Multiple signals incoming, Ross shouted. 3 destroyers, Empire ships. Jack grabbed Zoru. We have to go. No time, Ross said. They'll blast this place from orbit. Leva's eyes lit up. There's one chance, the cryopod elevator. Jack frowned. We'll freeze to death. No, she said. Short freeze. Emergency launch. A trick from the old days. It can shoot us out and shield us from the blast. Ross opened the pod room. Only 3 fit inside. I'll stay and hold them off. You'll die, Jack said. Ross shrugged. Someone always has to. They hugged him quickly. Zoru hugged his leg, whispering, Thank you. Then the pod closed. Cold steam filled the chamber. Lights flashed. Countdown began. Outside, explosions rocked the outpost. Inside the pod, Jack held Zoru close. Leva reached for both their hands. Together, she whispered. 2, 1. Boom. The cryopod shot into the stars like a bullet. Behind them, Criven 6 lit up with fire as the Empire tried to erase the truth. But it was too late. The message was already spreading across planets, ships, and cities. Screens lit up. Names were spoken. Secrets became truth. And the whole galaxy began to awaken. The cryopod floated silently through space, spinning slowly like a forgotten capsule. Inside, Jack, Leva, and Zoru lay frozen in deep sleep. Lights blinked quietly. Their breath was still. Time passed. Then, a signal was heard. Beep, beep, beep. A rescue beacon flashed on the edge of a nearby rebel scout ship. A young alien pilot caught the signal and gasped. Commander, I found it. It's them. 1 week later, Jack opened his eyes slowly. Warm light filled the room. The smell of clean air and soft flowers greeted him. He blinked, confused. He was in a medical pod. Real, advanced tech. A rebel station. He sat up. Across the room, Zoru laughed as 2 kids from different species ran with him, playing. He was smiling. Truly smiling. For the first time. Jack turned. Leva stood at the glass window, staring into the stars. You're awake, she said softly. He nodded. How long were we out? 6 days, she said. The rebels found us near Jupiter's belt. They said the entire galaxy saw the transmission. Jack stood a little shaky. Did it work? Leva turned to him, her eyes filled with something powerful. Not fear, not sadness. Hope. It didn't just work, she said. It changed everything. Across the galaxy, people were rising. On war-torn planets, crowds gathered to watch. Giant hollow screens replaying the files Jack and Leva had released. Kelvmaran's crimes were exposed. Hidden prisons, secret attacks, forbidden experiments. On one peaceful world, Maran was dragged from a ship by his own guards. They had seen the truth and refused to follow him anymore. Protests rose. Leaders fell. Empires cracked. The name Leva Zinn became known again, but not just as a survivor, as the woman who remembered. In the rebel station's hall, Jack walked beside her. Everywhere they went, people nodded in respect. Some touched their hearts. Others whispered thanks. Zoru ran ahead, laughing, his scarf flying behind him. He's free now, Jack said. Leva smiled. And safer than he's ever been. Jack stopped. What about you? What happens now? She looked out the window. I won't hide anymore, she said. There are still others like me. Voices that were silenced. I'll help them speak again. Jack nodded slowly. And me? Lihva turned. You ran toward a crying child when no one else did. You saved my son. My life. If you're asking, if we still need you. She stepped closer. We do. Zoru ran back to them. Come on. The celebration is starting. Jack looked at Lihva. I guess we're heroes now, he said. She laughed softly. No, Jack. We're just humans. And aliens who chose to care. Later that night, fireworks lit up the skies of the rebel city. People of all species danced in the streets. A giant screen showed a message. The truth cannot be buried. Compassion cannot be silenced. Zoru sat on Jack's shoulders, pointing at the stars. Do you think more people will help now? He asked. Jack smiled. I think they already are. Lihva stood beside them, a hand on Jack's back. Above, the stars shimmered. And among them, a new light blinked. A signal of hope, sent by a human who ran toward one desperate cry.